Hello, beloved hearts. Welcome back to another episode. I'm Monica Bermudez. I am the host for the podcast called Ascended Earth, the Transfiguration of the New Human. And we are live in Mount Shasta. Actually, this is my first time doing in person type podcast recording. Normally, I do it through Zoom and have the other person on the other end, with their microphone. But we're here together for those who are listening in audio, and for those who are on YouTube, you can see us. And I have a very special guest here with us. Her name is Christinemarie, and she does a lot of energy type art. I'm going to have her describe a little more what that is. And so I love, personally though, for me, I love art. And so I find that very unique ability that she has where she's channeling through the art. And so she's going to share a special message for us in the collective, but it is channeling through creative expressions. So, welcome, Christinemarie, to this episode. Thank you for being a part of it. And yeah, just want to welcome you.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Monica. Yeah, I'm glad to be here. Very, very glad to be here. This is my first podcast, so
Oh, good.
yeah, we'll see how I do on this, how it comes out. But
Oh, I'm sure it'll
very
turn out well.
excited, very excited about this. It's a lovely, lovely opportunity
Yes.
to get the energy and the information out, and for me to be able to share
Yes.
more globally, because that's really
Yes.
what I'm about. Is
Exactly.
very, very global with this.
Yes, that's exactly what the intention of this episode is. So that's a good way to start. And so, Christine, I wanted to ask you though, how did you get started in this kind of line of work? And can you elaborate a little more on the whole thing about energy art?
Oh my. Okay. Well, if we go way back, being an artist, always being an artist, but really a triggering when I was 5 years old, believe it or not. And along with the ability to work with the art through the years and honing my abilities, I've also been very sensitive to basically everything. I have, for some reason, I have the gift of comprehension on a very, very large scale. So that's really what I work with whenever I do this work, is to bring in more consciousness. And I have been a teacher for many years, 38 years of teaching esoteric information, studying myself, a lot of healing modalities, and let's just say how best I can serve, like we all are doing right now. So my abilities, the energetic abilities and understandings, and my art gifts have merged together through the years. And it has been a long process to have this take place. When I first started to do this, it was on the east coast of Florida, believe it or not, and it was up in Broward County in one of the metaphysical centers I was a part of. And in the readings, I also started to create a little bit of the art with it for the people. And I just allowed it to happen. I listen and I just do what it has me do. So these pieces became more of a signature for me, so that my gifts can merge together, and where I don't have to do just one or the other, but with them both together, it gives me tremendous satisfaction. I feel sated because I feel like that's very much my purpose for this lifetime, coming into my purpose. And so bringing this channeling energy in to the art itself and allowing it to embed into the art, where people can then take these and they can actually utilize them. They can use them for their dream time, on their altar, whatever they want to do with these. Because this is a flow of energy back and forth. And this is for them. When I do it specifically for people, this triggers a response, and the response comes back. It allows people to go into higher realms, and then they come back with this information, which is something that we as humans can actually do. So it's simply, it's a portal, and it's a tool to use.
Yes.
And it's through the colors, and it's through the symbology in the pieces. And also the pieces will change.
Mm.
So sometimes people will see one thing in there, and sometimes they'll see something else. So they're actually talking to their subconscious also,
Oh, I love
which
that.
is our doorway into our higher state
Yeah,
of being.
that's beautiful.
Yeah. So, and I've done some healing pieces too in the past,
Oh,
which have been
nice.
pretty intense.
So,
That's a whole other topic.
oh, maybe we can get into that because I would love to hear about that. I'm sure a lot of listeners would too. I mean, because sometimes we all are looking for some form of healing, and as we're going through all these changes right now in the earth, and things are really picking up speed and accelerated so much that it could be so overwhelming, right?
Yes,
So
it is.
anything could help at this point, like any tools, any support from anybody,
Yes.
right? We're always looking for something different to uplift us. So for like energy art, well, I call it energy art, but maybe you call it something else. Maybe you could just elaborate more how you would call it.
Okay. Well, I had received two messages many years ago, and one was I'm going to call it the entity that I enter into to do this kind of work and meet the spirit in this, I'll say, a hologram, a gestalt. And it said spiritual doorways, which makes complete sense to me. As humanity, we have been entering into these spirit doors since we can remember, really. And normally these spirit doors are in places in the earth, which is I'm very much into nature. That's my door to the cosmos and then the spirit anyway. So that's where I get a lot of this information. And the way in is actually very shamanic, including to the stars. It's very, very shamanic. Earth into the celestial. So with these spirit doors, and I didn't understand this at first when I started to do this. It wasn't giving me the information, probably, so that I didn't flatten it down.
So you had to figure it out yourself.
I was given this eventually so that I could handle what was happening and not try to make it into something lower, lower vibration, let's just say. So yes, spirit doors to move in and out of, to receive what's coming through, which is light. It's always light. And yes, now we're working with diamond light, which is a lot happening. And through the colors and as much beauty as I can put into the art, because that's very much my path also, is the beauty path in life. So yeah, and that opens the heart. It opens people's hearts.
Oh, it does, yes.
And it allows another kind of frequency to come in. And then just being with it and being okay with it. And this is a mirror. This is a back and forth mirror for people. So, yeah.
So this is like a visionary type art that
It's
you would
very.
call. Okay.
It's extremely visionary. When I do these works, I do not know what it's going to be until it shows itself to me.
Yeah.
I will start, it's like automatic writing, and so I will begin and I will just allow, and then I will see what's coming up, and that's what I will pull out, because that's what's meant to be pulled out at that time. And other things that I see, they'll come out maybe later
So it's like different layers that are coming up.
Yes, and when people are in altered states,
Yeah.
that's when these things will really come back and forth.
Oh, so it's really what needs to be heard in that moment, right? Pretty much for that person or individual who's receiving the visionary art. Okay.
Yeah, so they're receiving that, but also embedded in there is also, when we say what was hidden will be revealed. So if people are in a deeper state, other things will show up. They'll literally see other things in there. And it'll go back again when it's done its job.
So I want to share, a personal experience with Christinemarie, because we actually met at an alchemy fair in Mount Shasta. And so I had my table and she had her table. We were right next to each other.
Of course.
And so she came up. She was like, "Would you like to exchange?" I was like, "Oh yeah, it sounds great." So it felt like an immediate yes inside of me. So I was really fascinated by what you were doing there with the art. And so when I sat down, she was drawing like the art. And what kind of like colors you use? Pastel, like.
I use pastels
Okay,
usually.
pastel type colors.
Sometimes painting.
Okay, and so she had her pastels, and she starts to like draw or sketch, on this canvas, and she's channeling in that moment. But she's also talking to me. I was like, this is really interesting type of channeling going on here. And so, but she's picking up stuff that I haven't even shared with her. Like, she doesn't know anything about me, and so she's picking up this like galactic side of me, cosmic side, which has been coming up really repetitive for me, like in different channels. And those are the Lyrans, Lyran
Yes.
Starseed, which I actually just did an episode with them because they've been coming in so strong. They want to share like certain messages with the collective, with humanity. And so, but when I was looking at the picture, which I really have, at home, and the colors, because she used the color, she had there was a lot of flame and golden type colors, and there was like this pyramid. I was like, well, that's so appropriate for me because I'm always working with the pyramid energy.
Yeah.
And so there was also this other part of it that looked like a dragon. And so I was like, okay, there's all these things that, add up to my essence of, who I am, my galactic cosmic self. And all of this, without her knowing much about me. And so she's just like, almost like in this trance channel, like you could just like, but with art. And also like you sharing the message, right? Now, do you hear them speaking to you, or do you see both like the clairvoyance and the information that you get?
It comes in different ways, but
Mm-hmm.
mostly it just comes in the knowing.
Okay.
And I just simply accept it and I
Okay.
speak it. And if I'm in a very deep channel, I will say things, and then this part of me will say, "Oh, I didn't know that before." So, yes, so it's a direct channel, and I'm very happy
So okay,
to have this
yeah,
take place.
yeah. So
Yes,
it's
yeah,
like a claircognizance type, because that's what it's.
totally,
Yeah,
yeah, totally, yeah,
yeah, and I know about that. It's really like this all knowing, like you don't know where the information is coming from, but you trust it.
yes,
It feels good
yeah,
in the
yeah.
heart. Yeah, so that was a really fascinating experience with that with her
and
art,
and
and I
and
loved it.
and as yours also, I loved it, and
Oh yes,
working with the
thank
dragons,
you.
and I'm a water dragon, by the way. So
Yes, I love that. We're both dragons, so
yeah,
that's why we get along.
yeah, it's great.
Yes. Um, so do you remember when you channel, or do you kind of like
I
afterwards,
I remember some of it, but if I remembered everything,
Mm-hmm.
it would be overwhelming.
Yeah.
It would be too much. It would be overwhelming. And generally, when I have been channeling like this, and I've been connected with so many people in the physical Pisces,
Mm-hmm.
then I will go out into nature and I will just become myself again. That's how it works.
That is really cool. Yeah, sometimes, I ask these questions because I've also been kind of investigating other channelers, see how they work.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Yes.
find that really fascinating because everybody has a different way of expressing themselves and how, they
Mm-hmm.
channel, and it's very unique in everybody. So,
It is. It is. Well, many people also create a different personality for that entity coming in to take that personality and work through. So it's actually it's a split in personality that's done on purpose,
mm,
which is the usually the trans channelers, or you're channeling and you're actually watching yourself at the same time doing the channeling,
oh, okay.
and then
Yeah, I've
it's
heard
released,
that.
and then you come back into yourself fully again, because
Yeah,
otherwise it would be, let's just say, a bit too much for the system. So
okay.
yeah,
So, when you say entity, you're speaking more like your higher self and your intuitive side, like,
always through higher self,
yes.
yes, and those with us because they do love us dearly, and
Oh, yes.
basically, people have names for certain
Right.
frequencies coming in, beings of
Mm-hmm.
light, and yeah, I don't have that many of them. I love them all.
Mm-hmm.
I love the Kuan Yin. There's certain
Yeah.
ones that I really feel to give a name to, but otherwise
Right.
I generally just I stay with the frequencies, and I just
Mm-hmm.
allow them to show themselves as
Mm-hmm.
it's meant to be. And I'm saying they because I have no other word
I
to
think they,
describe.
yeah. No, I love how you say that word frequency, because it's really about the frequency and the vibration that you feel that comes through. And
Very, very
if it
much
feels
so.
good, then that is some other divine entity being like of
Yes,
higher
yes.
photonic light.
Yes, yes, absolutely, absolutely. So now we would call it the diamond light, which
Diamond
works for
light.
me. It
Mm-hmm.
is a
I
frequency in
love
the
that.
word, and it's
Yeah,
a lovely word.
it
It's a
is.
beautiful word, and it
Yeah,
feels really good. You know?
sparkly. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, it feels wonderful. It feels
It
wonderful.
really does. I mean, I love hearing that term diamond. And really, that's where
Mhm.
we're all turning into a diamond body. And, we've talked about that in the
Oh,
episodes as
yes,
well,
yes, we are.
because our cells are moving from this, lower density into these like higher density type, realms, which is more like diamond like. And
Hmm. Yeah.
we're shifting all of that, just like a pressure. You put pressure on a diamond, it's like,
Yes, it's
that's what
a
we're
lot of
feeling, a lot of
pressure.
pressure right now. Is like,
Yes, but it's needed, and if
hmm
we stay on our core, and we do our practice, and so we see this in a different way from the center of ourself,
hmm
we can let it go more and more, and just allow the process to happen. It's like being in Vipassana. It's there, you feel it, and
hmm
yet you just let it go, and it disappears. It's gone. So the quicker we can do that and come into just feeling a love and
hmm
quality of ourself. And it's not to say that we're bypassing anything. We are processing, definitely processing. We're feeling it.
hmm
But the more we allow this and not get caught in it trying to fix anything, but just letting it go, bringing ourselves back,
hmm
the quicker that it takes place and the more powerful it takes place. And we do feel the difference. I'm sure you do too.
Oh, very much.
It's
Yes.
like when you just take a breath and go, it's all okay.
Yeah.
It
Exactly.
really is.
Exactly.
It's all okay. And then our world changes. Our world
hmm
changes. Our spin of energy, instead of spinning in a lower frequency, which is generally the wrong way around, will literally stop and we'll start to spin the correct way. And then wonderful things come to us. When we're in that focus in our center
hmm
and our spin is, you know, this kind of spin instead of that kind of spin,
hmm
wonderful things come out of that.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
that's beauty. That's the
It is
beauty
a
of
lot of
life.
beauty. Yes.
That's the beauty of
Beauty of
life.
living and going through all of this right now, but
I know.
it's part of our life. Some of you may be feeling certain physical like ailments, and emotional stuff and mental stuff coming up, but
All of it's there.
we're here for it.
It's yeah.
We chose to be here for this right
Yes,
now.
yes. Well, as light workers, that's what we're
Yeah.
doing, and it's not to take it so personally anymore. But we came because a lot of people say, well, the old way was, oh, we did this in a past life, so I have to make up for it. And it's like, how about that? You came to make a change for family, for self, for family, for ancestry, for the
Mm-hmm.
earth, and so just doing it.
Yeah.
Just doing it and just being it.
Just keep doing the work.
And don't take it personally. Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. So, what is some art that would like spark healing that you've done? Like, can you describe that to us? Or
Yes. I was down in Florida. I did some specific art for people who were going through some massive changes, and it was physically and, of course, through all the bodies. So, how this works is more along the spiritual healing or the auric healing, because that was what I learned also. It was more of that, and it actually takes care of the physical healing. So I noticed in these pieces, which it actually took weeks and weeks because it kept changing, and every time it changed into a lighter color, I would draw, and I would draw, and it would change, and it would change. And sure enough, because I was keeping some tabs on people, and as they came out of their illness or their crisis into health and vitality and more of their conscious level, the pieces were changing to this also. And when it was finally complete with bright colors, and then they would receive the piece itself. So it was a recording of it, and at the same time was also for the spirits to work with that person to do the healing.
Now, have you found that there are specific colors that you use that have been very useful to healing, or it just varies? Like
it definitely depends on the person and what they're healing at that time, or something like that. but we get a lot of golds in it, and there's some blues in it. Of course, the greens.
Oh.
and the greens. But it's just again the frequency and where in the system needs the most harmony and balance. So, in other words, whatever was there that was holding on to these people as it releases, this is what's placed in this part of the system. So, there's no way for me to decide before. I simply reach, and as I'm reaching, I pick something up and say, oh, look at this color. And I begin. It's a complete channel.
Okay.
It's a complete channel. It's a total connecting, a complete channel, and then when it's finished, it's finished. And this can be done anywhere. This is all remoting the field at different levels. And I just allow it to happen. And the information comes in.
That's fascinating.
It
really
comes
good.
in. Yeah. I would give readings, and it wouldn't matter where anybody is in the world. And I would start, because the person would contact me a few days before, so I could feel the connection already taking place. And then about a half an hour or so before we would connect, say on the phone or whatever, I would start to write down their information.
Oh, no, that's fascinating.
And then when we connected, I would just read this out and then continue from there.
Cool.
We're already so connected on such subtle levels that, like, this is the last level that we connect on, but we're already connected in the ethers.
Very much, yeah, definitely.
Amazing.
It is, yeah. We're all very interconnected, and you don't have to be like physically together, like to really feel that connection. Having virtual as well, like around the world, and through our words and art, it could touch anybody, like anywhere in the world.
Yes.
So I want to get into like your latest work, and kind of do like a channeling for the collective right now that, it's something important for all of us to hear. Anything that would help us, going through all of these changes right now on the global scale, or any message that wants to come for us.
Okay. So specifically message. All right. Okay. And it's good to ask me questions too. So we'll see how this goes. All right. It's definitely today is to work with the Kuan Yin is wonderful, and whomever else comes in. We call them angels, etc. Because I do have something within me that has to do with that. I'm going to call it that tone of light. Okay, and I can just tell you what it's showing me right now. So it is. It's the big heart. It's the big heart, and I feel like the beat of the earth is getting louder. It's getting louder, and as this does so, it kind of shakes things up because that's what it's meant to do. Those that hear this beating heart will move with it. Those who resist, it'll just take them a while. And it's okay. It's okay. The versions of Earth, there's many versions of Earth, and right now we're all choosing which version we're going to live. And that's individually. And when we say, oh, there's the other out there really is no other out there. It really is us right here. Our souls are very connected. There's not that many oversouls on Earth, by the way. There's not that many. There's many parts of ourself having multiple experiences here. But more and more as we go along, we are recognizing this. We are recognizing ourselves. And it says to say, yes, when we see, oh, I've known you in the past. I must know this person. I feel an affinity there. Think of it another way. That's actually part of your own soul, your oversoul, that you're actually connecting with again and having a communication again. We give ourselves these personalities, again, to have these experiences, but it's actually us. And when we say Entu Pan, or all is one, It's very, very true. It's very, very true. So we say, hi, I recognize you. It's also part of the same oversoul. We're just having a bit of a different experience. And it's a lovely thing when we can make a contact like this, because we feel the affinity, we feel the beauty, we feel the love, and we really see ourselves in the mirror this way. This is our true state of being, our true state of being. So we're coming into this more and more, and it's not that we'll lose our individuality. If anything, our individuality is going to grow stronger and stronger. So I would say to stay with this, also stay with your, it says traditions of spirituality, but that just simply means what works for you to hold you in the core of your being, and not allow yourself to be pulled out into what's going on in the world. You don't need to be part of that. None of us do. We're creating something new. And the only way to do that is from that higher level of consciousness. 3D is here. It goes back and forth, back and forth. And it doesn't change. It will not change on the same level. We have to go to that higher state of being. So that's being in gamma, being in altered state a bit, staying in the core of our being. And what do you want to create? What do we want to create? And how do we want to create it? We're all creators with, of course, Creator God or Goddess. So I'm saying no denying the gifts. Allow them to come out. Allow yourself to be who you are and resonate. Allow it to form the words that are like songs. It's like the birds. The birds sing to the sun in the morning, and they sing to the sun in the evening. Be like this all through life, and walk in nature, and really make your connection, because we're meant to be here. We are not meant to take off somewhere else. We've actually come in here for this reason and purpose.
Yes.
So we are here for this. And life actually is very, very beautiful no matter what's going on. How exquisite it is just even to see a sunrise or a sunset, or see, an animal in nature, or see the birth of a child, or just see the smile in someone's eyes. We're here for this. Okay. You have questions?
That is really beautiful.
And just talking. But if you have specific questions about things, just let me know, and I'll see what comes.
So I was wondering, for those who may be going with the flow, the heartbeat of the earth, right? And there was somebody who's resisting. What do you advise, to them?
You're talking about so that the resisting is in someone else in this person's life?
Yeah, like if they have a family member who's resistant.
Allow them. Just allow them to be. Do not attempt to fix. The most important thing is to come to the core of yourself. Come into the center of your head, your pineal, in your heart, and your grounding tube. And allow this person to be who they are, because their soul must go through what it's going to go through. But do not allow them to interfere with your life and your energy field. So do your practice and become very strong. Allow the other to do what they are going to do, and that's it. Never jump out to help. Be who you are and find the joy in life. Even in this, start to become neutral about it. And don't rely on that, because that is not your ally. And we have so many allies just standing with us, right with us, who are so willing to help us. And not just humans from different places, but many realms that are here for us and love us so deeply. Even the stars, they love us so deeply. Turn to these and ask and receive and go about your way, and allow the other to go about their way, even if it's family members.
Yeah.
Be who you are. Be who you are. It's very, very different than we
yeah.
used to have as relationships. They're completely changing to this.
I know it's tough though for families, right? But yes, that is the path right now.
That is the only, that is the only path.
Yes. So, what does oversoul mean to you?
Oh, that's a good question. Okay, how do I explain this? All right. It's our higher self. Okay, and we think of our higher self as split here and here, but it's really not. It's really not. It's very few over souls that we are a part of, and it actually takes care of us. Okay, so it's higher self. And as we sit, we call it sitting in the council, the higher self. And we're all sitting at the same table, and we're all light beings, all at the same table, communicating this way. We see ourselves very separate here, but as we move up into the oversoul, and then beyond the oversoul, we are not separate. Even though we have our consciousness as ourself, we are not separate at all. And I'm not talking about hive minds or anything like that. Okay, this is a higher frequency. So let's just say the game being played here is not played there at all. It's not played there at all. This is a duality down here still. That is not a duality. So oversoul, think of it, is everybody's soul.
Okay. Yeah.
It's everybody's soul. It's one soul.
Collective, like.
Totally one soul having multiple experiences at the same time.
Okay, it's a good way. Yeah, I like that definition, expression of it.
Yes.
So this is really good. I don't have any other questions. I was wondering maybe you could like describe one of your arts that you're working on now. I think you said like Kuan Yin. That looks like Kuan Yin to me. Like.
Yeah. It's the start of the Kuan Yin. Let's see if we can find.
Yeah, you can see it like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So those who are on YouTube, you can see it, but maybe like for those who are on audio only, maybe you could just describe like.
Okay. All right. So just sitting quietly. All right. I came in. I thought I was going to start to do something else, and it sat me down. I say it sat me down. This very open, true self of myself sat me down, and I simply started to apply the pastels. And I just allowed it to take place, just like automatic writing, and to see what was coming through for me. And it's not just for me, but it's for the collective also. So you can see the Bodhisattva, okay, this goddess Bodhisattva. She's of earth, she's of the stars. She holds a lot of different, I'm going to say, effigies that, throughout history, people have described her in many different ways.
You talking about Kuan Yin or any general, like specific Bodhisattva?
The Bodhisattvas.
Okay.
And it all comes from the same source. So, if you start back in Mesopotamia with Ishtar, and the movement into the now, where we're becoming more and more human, and so is our understanding of the, let's say, the light beings that are always been with us and we are a part of. So we find her to be strong, and yet soft, magical. And in back of her, because I asked, I said, well, what is that in back of her that's beginning to come? I said, to me, it's like the portal, the moon, okay? And it says that's the mirror of self.
Fascinating.
And when we place the mirror, and I understand that from Dorji Dharma, I said, that is the mirror of self-reflection and what needs to go, what needs to be clear, and who our true self is, which is a shining being.
Yeah.
So if I was looking in this mirror myself, who would I see but this Bodhisattva? That's my real self.
Yeah.
That's who I really, really am.
Fascinating. Yeah, I love that.
So,
Uh, so
this is
just
the
to
start
kind
of
of
it.
describe to those on audio only, like
Oh, okay.
what I see, like there's a lot of yellow color around. There's some blue, right?
Yes,
Like
it's starting.
turquoise type.
Mm-hmm.
There's this image of the Bodhisattva. For me, when I first looked at it, it looked like Kuan Yin to me, but I
Right,
feel like she
right.
is the embodiment of that, right? The energy of it.
Yes,
But she's looking at it from, it feels like the collective energy of the Bodhisattva, which we all have within ourselves too.
yes.
And then behind her is like this globe. At first, I thought maybe it's Earth, but I really like the way she just expressed it of being a mirror, and like we talked about earlier, right? It's really the art could be defined however somebody perceives it as, right? It could be different, like every person who perceives an art. And so for me, like the energy that I'm feeling from the art is that I am feeling a lot of compassion and the warmth, that comes from it as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the message, from this art that is being expressed for all of us, is holding that compassion for ourselves first, right? As we are evolving and cracking open ourselves, going through the mud, the soils, of our distorted energies, and finding our true essence, which is that of the Bodhisattva. And so that's how I feel about this art. So it's a really beautiful message, and I'm sure like if somebody sees this on YouTube, you might be seeing like other stuff forming. Like this kind of looks like a phoenix rising there.
It is.
Yeah, so it feels like a phoenix rising. There's stuff, we're rising from the ashes of all of these changes and things that we're purging. And so that's, what I'm feeling from this art. So it's such beautiful art, and I really love how
Thank
you
you.
express it,
Thank you.
like you said, it's automatic writing, so this is like automatic drawing.
Yeah, exactly. There's other beings here. Some I might pull out, some not, to not make it busy. But
Yeah.
whatever it tells me, whatever it tells me. Yeah. So that's the. It's not just a representation. In other words, it actually is embedded with tremendous energies in there.
Yeah.
It's like any like a sacred piece that you would be using for healing work.
Yeah, yeah.
Things like that. It's the same thing with this, and it just shows itself as it's meant to come in, or the way I can express it as best I can. And it says to say too that yes, this is the portal that she sits in front of, and it's as you say, the I'm calling it the moon, you can call it the earth, but that's all a mirror of ourselves.
Yeah.
That's actually a mirror of ourselves and who we are.
That's so beautiful. I just love that. Thank you so much for that. So, so I'm feeling like to wrapping this up. So just quick takeaway, final takeaway from all of this, is that right now, we're looking for ways to get through all of these like chaotic energies and changes going on the planet. Everybody's experiencing different things, right? So just find whatever tools and methods you have to be able to keep yourself sane or in place, and still be uplifted. Like if you're going through like certain depression, maybe try to find things that will give you joy. And I find that art itself is very joyful, and so look at more art, look at more of Christinemarie's art.
There you go.
Are there any final takeaways that you want to share?
Yes, yeah. So, well, if you're in Shasta, I do offer even workshops, spirit art workshops to move through and to create such art, and also move energy in yourself and have it come to a deeper understanding of who you really are. Because we're actually very powerful beings.
Yes.
And it's just reminding ourselves and helping each other to remember who we really, really are while we go through the changes.
Yeah.
Because we don't really need what we've had before. That's existing on a level here. We're on a level here now. So what do you want to create? How do you want to create it?
Yes.
In any which way, as an artist, in cooking, in whatever you would love to do, singing to the mountain. It doesn't matter. Talking to the water. Just make the connection and make it strong, and find where your joy and your bliss really is, so you have a place to walk to and away from what was as you go through your process.
Yeah, and there is a lot of excitement, connections here, energies in Mount Shasta. And
Mm-hmm.
so when you come visit Mount Shasta, make sure you connect with Christinemarie and get your art.
Also, I do just regular readings to the
Yeah.
Akashic, and I will
Okay.
periodically work with counseling for
Okay.
people to move through
Perfect.
this too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
perfect. So connect with
yeah.
Christinemarie for any of that. And I'll have all her information in this episode notes and ways to connect with her. So do read all that information. And I am so grateful for all of you, the listeners, for being here. So thank you
Namaste.
so much. And thank you, Christinemarie, for being a
Thank you.
guest. And so I will be catching you in another episode. Bye for now.